Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Review of Honor, where we break down everything that happens inside of a Ring of Honor ring. This week we had we had three matches, which kind of is a little bit of a surprise. Normally we only have two, and then sometimes over we think we're going to have a third. They give us some kind of twist on the tail, and then one of those three matches doesn't happen. But this week, Ring of Honor gave us what we wanted. They answered our proverbial Batista, give me what I want, and they gave us the three matches that we kind of were looking forward to, especially an incredible main event. And I know that Ness is already raring to go to get to that main event, but sir, we got to get through some of the preliminary stuff first. But before we do all of that, we got to catch up with you, Ness. How are you doing today?
Doing mighty fine, but yes, I am. Overall, the whole episode was great, but yeah, that main event, I was excited. My boy Bandito's back, the rest of the Mexisquad. It was a great showing, and yeah, I'm just ready to get into the meat and potatoes.
For sure. And as you know, me and my co-host, the three-time baby-making champ, Ness, we break down everything that happens on Review of Honor. And all we ask for, guys, is that you hit that like button, you comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. We love to connect with all of our True Heel Heat fans and to continue to grow the channel, to continue to grow the number of people who we are able to interact with on this thing that we call wrestling. So guys, let's get straight to it. We find out that we are going to have a tag team match between the Briscoes, the now patched up Briscoes, a team that are back together and crazy as ever. The Briscoes up against La Faction Ingobernable with Dragon Lee and Kenny King. And to add a little twist, we find out that the winners of this match will be the number one contenders to the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, currently held by the Foundation. Now, a part of me thought, wow, this will be really interesting if the Briscoes can win this match, just because of the story that we've kind of been taking on with the Briscoes over these past couple weeks. But then as the match started going on, and well, as the match ended, I realized, no, the bigger story, the larger story is that LFI versus Foundation feud. Now, the match itself, I thought was pretty good. It had some good moments here and there. Dragon Lee and Kenny King have a lot of good chemistry in the ring, working together as a team. We know the Briscoes have chemistry working together as a team. You can't become 11-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions plus IWGP Tag Team Champions without having that kind of ability, that kind of pedigree in the ring. So the match itself was really great, but the ending of the match is what was so interesting. Here we see Flip Gordon, the mercenary, come out of nowhere and cost the Briscoes the win. LFI picks up the win and are the number one contenders. We are going to get LFI facing the Foundation. But even more interesting than that is when you think about it, why would somebody like Flip Gordon, who just got ragdolled around the ring by everybody who was in that 8-man tag match, when LFI did absolutely nothing to help him, why would he turn around and help them win a tag team contendership match? Well, it's because he has to live up to that name of being a mercenary. And we have the pivotal return of none other than Ethan Carter III, EC3. He is back. Also in the news is that EC3 has signed a contract with Ring of Honor. He will be part of Ring of Honor going forward. But what's kind of interesting about this is he cuts a promo that is really good. And part of this promo, he brings up that you can find people who are willing to sacrifice their honor for some kind of benefit, whether it's a material benefit, whether they think it's going to move them up the card, further their career, which I guess is also a material benefit in its own way. But now we realize when he's saying that, he's referring to Flip Gordon, because Flip Gordon was willing to take that money and sacrifice his honor and not let a match play out the way it should in exchange for 30 pieces of silver. And that silver allows the Briscoes to now turn their focus, maybe as a united front this time around, towards EC3, because EC3 says, Jay Briscoe, you are a man with honor. I found it interesting he didn't say Mark was as well. That kind of just was kind of funny. He was like, no, that dude's just crazy. Jay Briscoe, you are a man with honor, and EC3 wants to test himself. EC3 wants to see whether or not they can truly find honor, bring back honor to Ring of Honor. So the match itself, I give 2.5, 2.3 stars. The segment as a whole, I think I want to give maybe close to 3.75, just because of how well the booking paid off. We didn't really understand why Flip Gordon was teaming with LFI, and we didn't really understand why, like, the whole ragdolling thing. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Like, none of them want to get hurt. But then to see that switch a couple weeks later, where Flip is willing to help these people for money, the payoff is when EC3 says, Jay Briscoe, you are a man with honor, and we see where we're going to go. So I just like the whole segment overall. Ness, what were your thoughts on everything?
I enjoyed the match. I gave the match a 3. I probably would have given it more. I didn't like the actual finish of it being a roll-up. I cannot stand that. The match is hitting. It had good action, great pace, but the roll-up, that just kills it for me. I understand Flip coming out, the mercenary thing, him being added into the element. That's actually also great storytelling, because again, prior, these guys just let him get his ass kicked pretty much for like the whole match. You know, they even was just like pushing him out of the way at points and just like feeding him to the wolves. So whatever dynamic or wherever it came from, like, again, he's a mercenary. He's probably like, I don't like you guys either, but you're gonna, you're paying me to do this. So at the end of the day, personal feelings are out of it. Business is business. So him being injected into the match that way, that I actually liked it. But again, I just didn't care for the roll-up finish. Now EC3, I really want to see where they go with this now, because he's not coming off like smarky or being disrespectful. He's telling Jay that how much he admires his honor, and that he is a man with honor. And what Flip Gordon just did, there is no honor in that. I know that they have to pick it up where they left off, with Final Battle and everything happened with the match that didn't happen. But I can somewhat see maybe the Briscoes and EC3 at some point down the line teaming up to go at La Faction Ingobernable, because they're just, everybody has a problem with these guys at this point, because they have no honor. You have the Foundation that clearly has an issue with them because of their lack of honor. EC3, as out of the box, his thinking is, at the end of the day, he is about honor and he is about doing things the right way. So I just want to see how all these dynamics swirl up and where they go from there. But yeah, at the moment, LFI is in everybody's targets and they're just gunning for them.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I like about this, is that LFI is going to be challenging the Foundation, who want things done with pureness and with honor, and the way that LFI got the win is through dishonorable means. Now, granted, they didn't know that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
They didn't know, but they were willing to take advantage of it, and that just adds a layer to what will be the championship edition of Ring of Honor next week, when we have this tag team match. Flip is definitely a mercenary. He is definitely a guy who would be willing to, I think, punch his girl in the face for like $1 million if somebody were to offer that to him. That's, hey, it's $1 million.
Hey, some of us, I blame Flip, but it's $1 million. I might do it my damn self. So hey.
That's a question we all must ask ourselves. But a question that we also need to ask ourselves is, what is going to happen between the OGK and Vinny's group, whose name escapes me at this moment? The Righteous. There it is. Yeah. The Righteous.
I forget. Now, honestly, like, they have to say it for me to remember it.
It took me a second. But what doesn't take a second is to see the kind of carnage that happens in this match. This is they said during the match, they said the rules are going to be a little relaxed. It is a grudge match. so there we can kind of let these guys go at it. I think they could have gone at it a little bit more. I felt like they could have had this match. So actually, I should introduce our participants. We have Mike Bennett facing Bateman with Vida von Starr, and in 7 minutes and 32 seconds, Mike Bennett's going to put away Bateman. I thought the match was all right. I gave it like a 2-star, 2.25, but that's only because, like I was just saying, as soon as Riccaboni and Caprice said this is a grudge match, so the rules are relaxed, I'm expecting so much more. I'm expecting a lot more fighting at ringside. I'm expecting to see maybe a weapon or two, maybe a chair, just something. And I felt like they could have gotten to that level, but they didn't. And I was trying to figure out why. Like, what exactly was the situation? And maybe it was because, they wanted to hold off on the violence, so to speak, until we get to the big kind of blow-off match between Taven and Vinny, even though it seems as though with this feud, we've already had that. I mean, that final battle, we had the tag match. I'm not sure how much bigger you can make the match between the two of them. I mean, I guess maybe a loser leaves town or something like that, some kind of stipulation that gets added to it to make the stakes feel that much bigger. But we have a situation where after the match, after Bennett is able to put away Bateman, Taven comes out. And they do to Bateman what Bateman did to Bennett at the end of Final Battle. And I liked the parallel nature of it. That part I liked. I liked the fact that Vinny did not come out to save his boy. Man. He was just like, no, he's getting jumped. I'm not bothering with that. I liked that Taven, kept saying, I'm going to do this every single time until I get my hands on Vincent. I liked that. What I didn't like, outside of the match, like not getting to the level that I thought it was supposed to be, was Vida came out with Bateman, and she was like allegedly ringside during all of these after the match, like when the attack was happening. But then when they like cut to to Vincent talking to them from elsewhere in the building, magically she had teleported from ringside to wherever Vincent was. And they didn't show her leaving or anything like that, which just adds like a layer of confusion to it. Like, she sees him getting jumped by Taven and everything, and she's not gonna like get a chair or anything or like try to help this guy out. Just like, nah, screw Bateman. Like, what? I mean, if I'm Bateman, I'm like, whoa, there's some problems here. I mean, I'm icing my ankle, but like, I'm also like, there are some bigger problems that we got to worry about. And maybe that's where we'll see Brian Malonis and the Beer City Bruiser. We got to see how they're going to factor into all of this. But the match itself, I gave 2, maybe 2.25. It just, something about it just felt off when they told me that it was supposed to be a grudge match. I liked the post match, but then again, I don't know why Vida, pulled like a Harry Potter Houdini magic trick and teleported out of there. But Ness, what were your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, if you want to, it was a match. I'll give it a 2, but it just felt like something to further the storyline along. Man, if I'm Bateman, I'm rethinking this righteous thing, man, because Benny really does not care. I'm just expendable, and that's kind of what happens with these cult-like groups. The leader is, he's untouchable. You can't get to the leader. But everybody else around him, they're all pawns in the chess game, and they just got to be used. And this pawn in Bateman was definitely taken off the chessboard early in the game. Again, I like the dynamic of that Taven saying that he didn't want to do this. He just really wants the match. He just wants the match. He wants Vincent. He doesn't really care about Bateman. But, to get to Vincent, he's going to use Bateman literally as bait. But the irony of all this, Vincent didn't care. He's like, I'm not going to give you the match. You can do whatever the hell you want. And then they go off and, break Bateman's ankle. So he's like, oh, I'm just going to keep doing this. And Vincent's like, I don't give a shit. You can break whatever bone in the guy's body. You're so used to everybody telling you yes that you don't know what to do when somebody tells you no. I'm going to tell you no. I love that for the fact that it kind of is kind of is right. Matt Taven's obviously he's a star, or one of the stars of Ring of Honor. He's had title reigns. He has multiple title reigns out of every division, and being told no with his kind of accolades kind of seems like it doesn't happen, or it hasn't really happened in his career. So now Vincent's just basically like, look, I'm going to be the one person that you can't boss around, or you just can't have your way with, and that's going to eat you up inside. And technically it did, because he was so angry. What did he do? He went on and broke the ankle of Bateman. So the little underlining stories to keep this, again, like you said, the plate, to keep the plate spinning. Yep. This specific storyline is great. I just think that the match, obviously, it wasn't gonna be a lot to it. 1 hour, 3 matches on the card, with the other 2 matches, in my opinion, being a little bit more important. But the actual furthering of the story, that was done greatly. So I enjoyed that. I just didn't get like wowed by the match. Again, it was. They did throw it on us at the last second, kind of, oh, this is a grudge match, relaxed rules, and they didn't do like a lot of relaxed rules fighting, but for what it was a nice little brawl. But yeah, I enjoyed the furthering of the storyline way more than the actual match.
Yeah, I agree completely. I want to see where they go from here, whether it's going to involve the Beer City Bruisers. I mean, it doesn't seem like the Beer City Bruisers have anything really to do. And if the team is breaking up or the team is not breaking up, but the team is going through some struggles because of everything that's going on with the Righteous and OGK, it kind of only makes sense to include them as part of the overall storyline. So I want to see how they continue to build these things out in the weeks to come. And we know what we're getting next week. We're getting Championship Edition. We are getting Roosh defending the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship against Shane Taylor. But the question is whether or not Shane Taylor walks into that match holding the Ring of Honor 6-man Tag Team Championship. And that's what we're going to find out in this main event when Shane Taylor Promotions, Shane Taylor, Khan, Moses, who teamed together as the Soldiers of Savagery, whether they are going to be able to overcome the dynamic athleticism and just sheer jaw-defying speed sometimes that is Mexisquad, Bandito, Flamita, and Ray Horace. This is a match that was supposed to happen at Final Battle. We weren't able to get it because COVID is a bastard, but we are getting it now this week, and this was a match. This was a match. This was simply incredible. I gave this 3.5, 3 3/4. This was phenomenal work from everybody involved. You have, any person who's in the ring against Shane Taylor, automatically you have David versus Goliath as the story that you can tell just because of Shane Taylor's overwhelming size and power. But when you add in the fact that Taylor is teaming with 2 guys who are also incredibly big, incredibly strong and powerful, and there is nobody on the other team that can match them in just general size, physique, and strength, like when it comes to that aspect of it, the David and Goliath, that it just becomes so much bigger. It becomes so much more important to see whether or not the smaller team is going to have the speed, have the dexterity, have the willpower to win a match. And this showed that more often than not, just because you have speed, you get hit in the mouth 1 too many times, something's going to happen to you. And I got to give hats off to Mexisquad because they made their return with a bang. I think the spot of the match for me, spot of the night for me, is when Bandito's on the ropes. They come running and they do the top rope dives, and then he does the moonsault off onto the ringside. Wow, that was just incredible. Incredible action from everybody involved. 3.5, 3 3/4. But guys, I've been talking about this match for way too long. So Ness, what did you think about this one?
I also enjoyed this match. Clearly, this was, in our both opinion, I'm sure, the match of the night. I also gave it 3.5. Man, it was a lot of action from start to finish. I love the fact that this is the match we were supposed to get at Final Battle. Again, COVID being the bastard that it is, we didn't have that chance. I'm glad the fact that everything came full circle. Shane Taylor Promotions, they were going to get literally handed the titles. They said no. Shane Taylor, no, this is not what we want. I told these guys under a year, just stick with me for a year. I will make you champions. This is not how we want to do it. So now everything's somewhat back to normal. The Mexisquad as a whole are able to compete. So we're going to have this match. And from start to finish, again, this match did not disappoint whatsoever. I love the fact that Shane Taylor Promotions went over. As much of a lucha libre, luchador, bandito mark that I am, the power that Shane Taylor and Moses and Khan brought into this match. And there were some points where they tried to match speed with the Mexisquad. It was just a great clash of styles. But at the end of the day, man, Shane Taylor and Moses and Khan, they just had the momentum going into the final battle with the match. Wanting to see it. The way things played out, you just kind of had a feeling that whenever the match did happen, they were going to be victorious, and it was for all the right reasons. There were no shenanigans, no dirty finishes, nothing of that nature. It was just a straight up not pure match, but a straight up win with no anything extra. And that's really what he wanted to show. Go out there and show that, we don't want gifted titles. We don't need to play dirty to get this win. We're going to go out here and we're going to get the job done on our own merit. And that's exactly what they did. Now, Shane Taylor definitely has way more momentum now going into his championship title match against Roosh the following week. But who knows? Are they gonna, pull the trigger, make him a double champ? Who knows? Because that seems to be the end thing now, that the tag champ or one of the tag champs has another singles title. But I honestly, I doubt it. I just think that at the moment, if that happened, it would probably slow down the momentum in a lot of storylines, just taking the title off of Roosh. And that's not something that they should do at the moment. I don't believe that's smart. But I want to see the match. Just seeing the match completely. Also, there's no need for a clean finish in Shane Taylor versus Roosh. They can have it be a dirty finish to keep Shane Taylor not out of the picture, but just maybe on the back burner for a little bit of time until they get everything squared away with LFI and the foundation. But yeah, this definitely was my match of the night. I gave it 3.5 stars, and man, I'm just ready to see. I'm so glad that Bandito is back. Also glad for, Ray Horace and Flamita. But yeah, my guy is back, man. I was going to wear a bandana around my face for this episode. That's how stoked I was for him to be back. But again, kudos to Shane Taylor Promotions, Moses and Khan, and those guys. Let me say that those guys I feel are finally starting to come into their own. I'm enjoying their matches more than I see them. That they're showing me a little bit more every time I see them in the ring. So I'll definitely gonna be looking out for those guys in the future.
Yeah, this was. I thought that was actually what my question to you was going to be. How you felt this affected the world title match. I think if Shane Taylor Promotions had lost, then he had a very good chance of winning next week. But I agree with you that I don't think he's going to win next week, because that would mean that at the next pay-per-view, they said all titles have to be defended. They're going to have 2 people doing double duty if that was the case. But what I will say is this will be interesting to see whether or not, now that let's say Mexisquad goes for the rematch at that anniversary show. Let's say they come up short. This could free up Bandito to chase some singles gold.
Yes, that's honestly what I want.
Tell me the idea. Tell me the idea of a pure rules match with Bandito versus Gresham for that title doesn't interest you, just because you got that's like this is the question, whether or not the guy who can fly around the ring gets caught in the Venus flytrap or not, or does that guy have just enough stinging power to be able to take down that Venus flytrap and win that automatically gets me interested. That we could see whether or not Ray Horus is going to try to avenge his loss against Dragon Lee, or whether Flamita is going to be the one to try to take the TV title from Dragon Lee. There's so many different avenues that Ring of Honor can go down now that they have moved those titles from Mexisquad to Shane Taylor Promotions, because now they basically freed up 3 single stars. Not to say that they aren't a team, they are a team, but every single one of them on their own has the ability to challenge for any number of titles within Ring of Honor, any of the 3 singles titles. The only thing, and you know what, actually now that I think about it, because I just remembered, what brought down, one of the other things that brought down the Bateman and Bennett match and then the post segment afterwards is that the very next match had Maria Bennett on commentary.
Yeah.
And she didn't talk about literally what had just happened, and the commentators didn't ask her about literally what had just happened. They were just like they just completely glossed over it.
I don't know if they're just like strictly having her for, the ROH group for Facebook, because they mention that. They're quick to mention that, and they'll bring up the ROH experience and things of that nature. But anything that's actually happened on the show regarding her husband, they've yet to ask her about it whatsoever.
Which seems really weird. I mean, and we were talking about that. We were talking about the Final Battle review. We thought that she was going to run out to make the save then and help out then against because the Righteous had a female member with Vida, so we thought maybe OGK would have her come out to even the odds. So maybe, I don't know, maybe she's not cleared to wrestle. Maybe there's something going on that we don't know. But just to ask her about what exactly she thinks of, what's going on there, because one of the aspects of that storyline, despite Vincent, being the evil bastard that he is that we saw Taven sink to a new low. We saw Taven do something and Bennett be okay with his friend doing something that the honorable face should not want to do. The very least that we can do is ask his wife, what do you think about, ask Bennett's wife about what do you think you just saw? And that's something that I think is, I forget who it is in, who was in WWE, whether it might have been with, it was with when Dean turned on Seth, they tried to ask Renee how she felt or what she thought about what was going on with Ambrose. And that was smart because we all know that they're together. Yeah. And that's in a situation where the last names aren't even the same. In this situation, we do know that they're together and the last names are the same. Like it's I don't know. I think that they missed a shot there, but that took me out of the moment of the main event for a second or two, because I was like, no, yeah, that's right. Why didn't they? What's going on with that? Yeah. But then that main event brushed all those problems aside. But ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we do have new 6-man tag team championships. Congratulations to Shane Taylor, to Khan, to Moses. Those, to your point, those 2 guys, Khan and Moses, they are going to be somebody that we need to look out for. We need to watch going forward, because they are making waves. They listened to Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor said, "We will get you a championship within a year." That's exactly what happened. We will see how they continue to go forward. I think it'll be interesting, especially if they are ringside for that championship title match next week. And we also have Dragon Lee and Kenny King ringside. We could see some sparks fly for sure, because we know LFI is willing to break any rules as long as it means that they retain their titles. And we know that Shane Taylor Promotions does not put up with bullshit. So, so how all of that plays out, I don't know. Ness doesn't know. None of you guys know either. But when it does happen, we will be with you every single step of the way to break it down and give you our opinions. So, Ness, tell the fine people where they can find you.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at skinny_Kravitz. You can follow me on Instagram at skinny__Kravitz. And you can catch me on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. I am one half, obviously, of Review of Honor with my man, the Stat King, the man of 1,004 numbers. You can also catch me on Blunt Impact and Joints and Jabronis with my man, Chris G. We form the Pod Heels. I'm also on most of the roundtables, the Roundtable Rebel, if you will. And you can listen to my illustrious voice on True Toxicity. We just had an episode drop yesterday. Go out of your way and listen to that. I think it's kind of funny. I would love to hear your feedback on it. It's about the cancel culture. Cancel culture, you know, like how Ring of Honor was almost canceled, but but they made a strong comeback, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, I mean, we actually now that you bring it up, they're in the news. This is newsworthy. Kelly Klein did file a employment discrimination lawsuit against Ring of Honor for her time there, having to do with issues with equal pay. I believe there may be some sexual harassment issues there as well, stuff that happened with her husband, BJ Whitmer, who at the time was with Ring of Honor. There were some allegations leveled against Jay Lethal, so it will be interesting to see how exactly all of that plays out, and we'll be keeping tabs on that as well. Yeah,
I just hope that they'll still be here so we can still be here.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see how all of that plays out. But guys, you can also catch me on Dark Power, covering everything that happens on AEW Dark and MLW Fusion. And you can catch me in our Facebook group, especially right now, where Ness and I and others have been catching all of the tears from the WWE marks. This isn't just water with like a flavor enhancer thing. No, it's a little on the sour side, a little salty because of the number of tears that we've just been collecting. It just tastes amazing because people can't understand that the Dave Meltzer Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards are a fan voted thing as opposed to his personal opinion. So.
Oh no, but you didn't know though. Don't you know that they are coerced to think like that? Because of Dave Meltzer, it's his observing newsletter or awards, so they have to vote to appease him. I never knew that.
And I'm sure the people that are saying that also felt that Great Balls of Fire was an amazing pay-per-view name. So there's just a great number of things that people are mistaken about these days. But guys, until next time. I am the Stat King. That is the three-time baby-making champ, Ness. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And until next time, peace.